Hey, folks. So, I did see the fourth episode of season 8 of Game of Thrones, The Last of the Starks. And it took me a little while to ponder and think about it because this episode was, quite honestly, all over the place and very, very inconsistent. And I'm going to have to go ahead and say that this was probably the weakest of episodes so far this season. Now, I know this is one of, I haven't done very many reviews on Game of Thrones, but earlier in the seasons, around season 5, season 6, when they started going past the books, it was quite clear to me that the quality of the show was dropping quite considerably. And I made the determination that the creators were good at adapting the books, but not so good at coming out with original content. And then when it was announced that season 7 and season 8 were going to be only 13 episodes, I was concerned because we had all this build up in the previous 6 seasons, 60 episodes, and all these plot lines and, things coming to a head. I did not see how it was going to be resolved in such a short amount of time. We were going to have rushed plot lines, inconsistent storylines, and it was just going to feel very much glazed over. And I think this season has definitely had some issues. Last season had some issues. But this episode is really, really got the brunt of that situation. So I'll do a quick, recap and just give my thoughts on this whole episode. So, it starts off, the battle at Winterfell is over. The Night King is supposedly gone. And now, they're going to, burn all the bodies. So it's now morning. And, we have all these pyres and all these bodies. And my first thought was, golly, that had to have taken a whole lot of time. You've been staying up all night preparing for the battle. You've been battling all night, all morning, whatever. You're exhausted, you're tired. Really, you want to just lay down and take a nap. But apparently, you still have enough energy to, put up, 50 or so pyres and put all these bodies up. And then, stand there and say something and burn them up. I'm presuming that's all within the same amount of time. I don't think any time has passed. Because it looked like everybody was still bloody and bruised from the battle. So we see Jorah. We see, what's his face? Theon. And it's a very somber mood. Very, very well acted. And then, of course, after being so somber, the best thing to do is to have a party. You have to eat. I'm sure everybody's hungry. Now, granted, I have nothing wrong with the party scene, but I would have presumed the first meal afterward, everybody would have been somber. Anyway, moving on. So Gendry gets his name. He's legitimized now. And in my thoughts, he has a legitimate claim to the throne now that he's been legitimized by Daenerys. And what's the first thing he wants to do? He wants to find Arya. Because all of a sudden he loves her and he wants to make her a lady. This just seems way too rushed. Granted, they spent some time together in season 2. And they spent, some quality time in, episode 2. But now, he's head over heels for her. But I enjoyed the whole party scene. You had, drinking game between Tyrion, Jaime, Brienne, and Podrick. And shouts out to my man Podrick, because, of course, as everybody's getting drunk, apparently all the young ladies of Winterfell are willing to just get on with anybody that's available. One approaches Tormund after Jaime and Brienne leave. Another one approaches the Hound. Another one approaches Podrick. Now, I thought it was kind of funny because after the Hound chases the girl off and Sansa and the Hound are talking, you see in the background that girl going to Podrick. So Podrick's walking off with two ladies. I thought that was incredibly funny. Now, at the same time, everybody's giving, Jon Snow credit, and Daenerys, instantly gets jealous. Then later on, she demands Jon, to keep it a secret. Of course, he doesn't do that. Tells, Sansa and Arya, tells them to swear not to tell anybody. Well, he doesn't tell them. We think Bran tells them, but we never get to see that because the episode cuts away. The hell. But the next scene, we see everybody kind of leaving. It looks like one big goodbye scene. Tormund's going to go back to the north. Not sure why he's not going to help out with, attacking King's Landing, but whatever. Jon tells him to take Ghost. It doesn't even give Ghost the time of day of a goodbye. He just looks at him and, hey, I'm leaving. Dog's all bloodied up and everything, just fought a battle. At least give the dog a few seconds of, time. Hell, I have 2 dogs. And when I'm about to leave, I reach down and say, hey, boy, how's it going? See you later. That's all you gotta do. Anyway. We find out Sam and Gilly are expecting. That, that just felt like a big goodbye. Felt like a big goodbye episode. And we still have 2 more to go. So all of a sudden, next thing we have Daenerys and company on a boat. Well, Daenerys is flying, and the rest of her group is on boats going to King's Landing. And apparently, when you're flying on a big freaking dragon, you can't see a fleet of ships in front of you. You're just going to be flying just for whatever. Or maybe she did and didn't realize they had big freaking, crossbows or whatever. So, Rhaegon gets shot, dies, we presume. And somehow these scorpion weapons, whatever that Euron Greyjoy has, instantly reload. Okay, now, in all the history of crossbows on this show, whenever the crossbow's fired, they have to take the time, reload it, and shoot again. But somehow these instantly reload. And that was the same thing with Bronn and his crossbow that he was going to use on Tyrion and Jaime. He shoots an arrow at Jaime, well, by Jaime, and all he has to do is put another arrow in, and it's ready to shoot again. This is supposed to be the same crossbow that Tyrion used on Tywin. And in that scene, we see him have to use the crank to reload it. Come on now, people. This is the kind of inconsistency that just drives me insane. So now Euron Greyjoy is able to just rapid fire these things and totally decimate the boats of the Unsullied of the Targaryens. Daenerys flies away. I literally thought she was just gonna. I thought she was gone. I thought she was just like, I'm out of here, bye. And somehow all the people that survived jumping off the ship are able to swim to one shore, but Missandei, either A, she doesn't know how to swim, or B, decides to swim the wrong way, and she gets captured. Doesn't really show her getting captured. We just see that all of a sudden she's captured. They put a fishnet out there and they caught Missandei. So I knew instantly how that was going to end. Nothing good was going to happen here. So somehow everybody that no longer has boats is able to get back to Dragonstone lickety split. I mean, this should really be like weeks of walking, and I'm surprised. As they're walking back to Dragonstone, Cersei just didn't send her troops out to go get them. They're able to just, like somebody said, the teleporting scene in there's a teleport in Game of Thrones, just like there's an endless supply of ravens that instantly get wherever they need to go. And so Daenerys says, hey, we need to go back and do this. And of course Varys is starting to realize that Daenerys may not be the person he wants her to be. Now, before I keep going, Sansa swore not to tell anybody, but she immediately goes, screw that, and starts telling, Tyrion, and Tyrion tells Varys. So now, I had a feeling something like that was going to happen, but not this exact way. So now it's going to spread like wildfire. And so Daenerys takes her remaining Unsullied to King's Landing, which I don't know if it was just me or if I was just missing something, but it looked like it was all like a couple hundred dudes. It didn't look very imposing. So when you're trying to make a siege on a castle and it looks like you only have, a couple hundred guys, I'm surprised Cersei didn't just send her whole army out there and just take them out. Of course, she does have a dragon, so maybe that's why. And then Tyrion goes up to speak to Qyburn, realizes Qyburn is useless, and then proceeds to walk up towards the landing. And then we have a million people pointing their arrows and everything else at Tyrion. And he stares at her, and then Cersei decides not to kill him. Now this makes no freaking sense. She sent Bronn to kill him, and now that she has a chance to kill him, she just looks at him and says, okay, I'm not going to kill him. This is the level of inconsistency that drives me crazy. Yes, I have a tendency of thinking too hard when I watch TV and movies, but this is just blatantly makes no sense. None whatsoever. So, Tyrion makes his spiel, makes his plea. Hey, we're going to take you out with our couple of hundred dudes. That somehow we were able to go back to Dragonstone, recoup, and walk back to King's Landing, but Jon and his crew still are on their way. And Cersei, goes, well, I got one better for you. You can have Missandei back, but in a couple of pieces. So we lose Missandei. Now, if anybody was surprised that that was going to happen, come on now. For the past 3 episodes, we've seen Missandei and Grey Worm talk about their future. And this was before the Battle of Winterfell. So it was all but assured that one of them was going to die. I mean, that's pretty much a television staple for decades now. It's pretty much assured that the police officer that's about to retire is going to die. Okay? Your best friend's going to turn on you. Okay? And then, if you're starting to plan your future with your loved one of them's going to die. This happens all the time. There are no happy endings usually in shows like this. And of course, we have Jaime and Brienne who are together. And then Jaime, once he realizes that, a dragon has died, he's going, oh, I gotta go back to Cersei. And I have to give, 100% kudos here to the creators for totally emasculating Brienne. Yes, I said emasculating. Brienne has been a beast since the beginning. Now, granted, we saw her lose her shit when Renly Baratheon died. That's because she was, loyal to him and everything. And we knew she loved Jaime. But come on now. Yeah, that was her first time. Whatever. But, I mean, she was totally, I don't know. It felt 100% forced and out of character for Brienne. And Jaime, of course, knowing that What's-Her-Name wants him killed and had an arrow fly by his head, hey, I'm going to go back to you now. Because I love my twin sister. Oh, come on now. This is... So anyway, we have 2 episodes left. This show is not going to end well. One, in the fact that I don't think really anybody's going to survive. Right now, my 2 top people that are going to survive is going to either be Sansa or Varys. And maybe, just maybe, Gendry Baratheon. And let me go back to a scene here where you had Sansa talking with the Hound. Didn't that look just a little bit creepy? Like she was gonna, get with him as everybody was, getting together. Almost looked like she was, trying to mac on him or something. I don't know. And now Arya's off with the Hound. The dude gets more attention from ladies and he doesn't want it. This show's not going to end well. And a lot of people are going to be upset. And it's kind of sad for a show this well put together to kind of end this way. But that's how it is sometimes. Anyway, I spoke too long on this matter. Let me know your comments on the Game of Thrones episode 4, The Last of the Starks. Tell me what you think. Post it in the comments below. And I'll talk to you guys later.